Yo, what's going on? Episode 6 of the Third and 10 podcast. How you guys doing? I'm Nate. Brian's back here on a beautiful Thursday. What's up, Brian? How you doing, my guy?
I'm doing great right now. School finally over. We got a couple finals to do. A
Okay.
couple finals on Friday and Saturday. I'm very upset about the Saturday one. I had big plans on Saturday, which are now have to be rescheduled. If
Could
it's
you could you reveal those plans to us before
of
we
course I
start?
can reveal those plans. It's everyone's know what May 4th is. It's Star Wars Day. The one thing I love almost as much as sports is Star Wars. So I was gonna
Interesting.
I was gonna sit back and watch every Star Wars movie. I can't do that anymore because I got an exam on the Intro to Biblical Studies. I have an exam on the New Testament at 4 p.m. I love God. I love them all. I think God's like, what is this? Like, what are we doing here, folks?
Oh, 100%. All respect to the man above.
Oh, I love him. I love him.
But at the same
We're
time, it's
half in
like,
school, for God's sakes.
I'm sure he feels bad for us to having feel bad for you to have to, deal with this final on Star Wars Day out of all days. So,
Star Wars Day, bro.
well, I hope you get to watch your films regardless on May 4th. As May the 4th be with you, or May the 4th. I don't know. I don't
May the
know.
4th. May the
May the
4th be
4th.
with you and Revenge of the 5th.
There you go. See, that's how little I know of Star Wars. So hopefully you can teach me some references one day. But I will say this: it's been about a week since the NFL draft began, and it ended on Saturday. All 32 teams made their picks. Our Giants made some solid, very great decisions. We were
Great
talking off there.
decisions.
Great
Great.
decisions.
This might be one of my favorite draft classes
I have to say,
of
yeah,
all time. Joe Shane hit an absolute home run with this one.
100%. And we're gonna look at the roster, and see where it stands right now. We'll talk about the winners and losers of the draft. It'll be Brian talking about his winners and losers. I discussed it on Monday's episode, so go check that out if you haven't yet. And we'll talk about Ezekiel Elliott, who is back in the NFC East as a Dallas Cowboy, which is questionable, but we'll get into all that
It's
in
interesting.
just.
It's
It
interesting.
really is. I'm thinking to myself, like, there's other options, and you decided on Ezekiel Elliott. All
Yeah.
right.
Like I would have just drafted the quarterback. I mean, whoa, drafted the running back.
Hey, it's not our team.
Not our team. You know what? It's just senile Jerry Jones running the Cowboys into the ground.
Exactly. Hey,
That's all I'm gonna say.
fine by us.
Fine by us. Fine by us.
Hopefully the Eagles,
Hopefully they're next.
hopefully they're next, because we know the Commanders are already downfall. They're going down as it is, but we just need the
Yeah,
Eagles to go down.
the Commanders are. I
They're a
mean, poor
mess.
Jaden Daniels.
I know
Love the.
he's.
It's so scary because like you're seeing all these all these pundits and stuff. You're like, this is RG3 2.0. I'm like, don't say that. That didn't
No.
end well.
Like, it didn't work out that time. Don't
It
say
didn't
that.
work out. I like
Even Kevin Wilson says Zeke
yeah,
is not the
he's
answer.
not. Like even as a diehard Giants fan, I will never forget watching that playoff game where RG3's leg buckles. Like that, the
Oh,
image of the replay is still just burned into my head. I'm like, that was like the first time as a sport fan, like, oh, that's not good.
that's not good. Why is it the Washington quarterbacks have major injuries? The RG3 injury, and then Joe Theismann back
Theismann.
when
You know who hurt Joe Theismann? Do you know that?
Lawrence Taylor
Yes,
himself.
sir. Yes,
I don't know
sir.
why I like how we're saying that as a good thing, but at the same time,
It's Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor's
it's Lawrence.
amazing.
He's arguably one of the greatest defensive players, if
You
not the
should
best, in Giants
look.
history.
You ever watch Lawrence Taylor's football life on NFL Network?
I should. No, I have not yet.
Definitely check that out. It's unbelievable how good he was with everything he was doing off the field.
Off the field, you say?
Oh my God, off. Oh,
Oh,
like
okay.
he was doing some crazy stuff.
Okay, Mr. Taylor. I will find out myself later today or one of these days. But hopefully the
Google it
Giants have a
too.
Lawrence
Oh,
Taylor of their own on this roster, right? Kayvon Thibodeau, maybe. Who knows?
maybe Brian Burns.
Maybe. I'm excited for those two.
Oh,
As
they already had the sack dance ready to go.
On the little boat.
Yes.
Yep.
Catching
Those
fish.
those two, man. I tell you. As we go to our first segment of the day, First Down, presented by SeatGeek. Use the code BELLYUPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Concert tickets, comedy shows, sporting events, obviously football, basketball, baseball, all that stuff. Go to SeatGeek for your tickets. They got the best price, and they make sure they let you know, hey, this seat is a good price and it's a good view as well. So shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring our first segment, which will be covering the New York Giants roster as of right now. Brian, as we discussed over the past weekend, we saw Malik Neighbors come to us, as well as Tyler Nubin, cornerback Andrew Phillips from Kentucky, Theo Johnson, the tight end from Penn State, the running back Tyrod Tracy from Purdue, and then Maurice Luafu from UCLA, who you called on your mock draft about a couple episodes ago. So shout out. Okay, Mr. Scout, knowing your stuff. They must have listened to you. They're like, all right, if this guy says you should draft Luafu, we'll draft Luafu.
About time someone listens to me. No one else does.
So before we go into the roster itself, what were your thoughts on the Giants draft this year?
Yeah, so I think Joe Shane hit an absolute home run with this thing. I loved how he didn't reach. Like, I know there were some rumors out there about trading up for Drake May. I don't know if you know, but like there was a rumor that were offered 3 first-round picks, 24, 25, and 26. Legit, the draft day trade we offered to move up for May. And I think he was the only quarterback that Joe Shane was like sure that he was going to be his guy. And when they didn't get him, they pivoted immediately. They didn't, they didn't listen to the fans screaming. They didn't listen to the outside pressure of, you can't start Daniel Jones next year. Joe Shane goes, no, we can't get the guy you want, pivot and build the roster. Malik Neighbors is going to be an electric guy in this league. I was up till 4 a.m. last night watching his highlights. I love this kid. Tyler Nubin, like almost the perfect replacement for Xavier Kitty, a day 1 starter. Phillips, I didn't love it at the time, but he's a cornerback number 2. Were there better options on the board? Sure, but like I'm not going to kill him for that one. Theo Johnson is going to be a great backup to Bellinger and probably could jump Bellinger halfway during the year if he's good enough. And then we got, Tyrone Tracy Jr., who is, an electric back. He was actually the number 1 running back in college in yards after contact. So he's just a bruiser. He's just going to, he's going to take a hit and just keep going, which is what we want from the Giants. And then my boy, Darius Miller, he's a run-stop guy. He's going to be great on special teams. So everywhere you look, the Giants, they had holes, and Joe Shane filled every single hole. The really only main issue I have with this roster is quarterback.
And that's a beautiful thing in a way, because it's like, this is it. In terms of, I want to sell this right now, actually, because I want to keep this mindset for the rest of this. I know we haven't even reached July and August yet, but I want to make a decision right now.
Yeah.
Do we believe in Jones, or do we believe in Drew Lock? Because for me personally, I want to stick with one thing and not even change my mind no matter what happens.
I think it's a matter of camp. I think you have to go in and tell both these guys, like, all right, Jones, I don't care what your contract is. You two there's no starting quarterback on this roster right now. Okay. Prove it to us in training camp and in preseason that you're the guy. Light a fire under both these guys, and let's see what if pressure makes diamonds. Let's see what happens. You put a little pressure on these guys. And you know what? I know we're not big DeVito guys. Tell DeVito too. Be like, hey, 3 of you all have an equal shot. Which one of you is going to perform?
That's beautiful. I like that. Yeah, I think I never thought of it that way. I was like, oh, I gotta choose one. But if you think about it, Jones never really had competition, ever.
His competition was Eli Manning,
who was already going down the drain.
Exactly. Yeah, I love Eli, but like 2 Super Bowls, thank you, man. But like,
yeah,
he was washed.
100%.
Like we Giants fans can now admit, like Ben McAdoo was right in benching Eli Manning. He did it horrifically.
True. That's a mindset.
It was It was the right idea, horrific execution. But the idea of, okay, we need to look past Eli Manning, that was a good idea. We just did it in the absolute worst possible. It's kind of like if you were at a dinner with somebody and you finish eating and go, okay, we have to clean up. We have to clean up. We have to clean up. We got to take the plates off the table, and then
Correct.
you grab the tablecloth and just yank it.
Okay.
The plates are off the table.
That's fair.
They're
True.
broken, but they're off the table.
Yeah, I just, for Jones, we've said it. I've said it last year, and I told our audience that it was like, okay, there's no excuses. Jones, you have a lot of weapons. This is when they had Paris Campbell and they saw Saquon and you had Darius Slayton and high end, blah blah blah. This year you have no excuses. Like you have an actual wide receiver in Neighbors. You have a running back by committee, which does work at times. You couldn't do crap
with running back. The rumors this morning that they might bring Kareem Hunt.
Oh God, no! I don't know. I don't know how do you feel about that?
Torn. Like, he's okay, but like I don't really like the baggage that comes along with him.
I don't think he's a starter though.
No, but a running back by committee, he could be fine.
I would say the only way I would be okay with the Giants signing a running back in free agency is the only way the Giants would sign a running back to me is if he would be the RB1. That's what I would be okay with.
All right. Yeah, no, I respect that.
But
I respect that.
You drafted Tracy, you have Eric Gray, you already have Singletary. It's like,
yeah,
you can
let's see what the kids can do.
Exactly. Young guys.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at quarterback wise, you're right. I'll stick with your mindset of just let all three of those guys battle it out in training camp and see how it goes. But personally, I kind of believe in Drew Lock. He's not scared.
I mean, like, if you had a gun to my head and say pick one right now, I probably would pick Drew Lock because like I've seen Daniel Jones, I've seen Tommy DeVito, I haven't seen Drew Lock with Brian Dable. Maybe like Brian Dable could just unlock something in Drew Lock we never seen. Geno Smith was washed before he went to Seattle.
I believe in not the philosophy, but the mindset that Dable could do to Lock what the Buccaneers did to Baker.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
I believe in that because, Baker bounced around a few teams, went to Tampa. All of a sudden, the coaching staff believes in him. The former offensive coordinator, Dave Canales, who's with the Panthers now, changed him completely. All of a sudden, Baker's getting paid. Not saying Drew Lock's going to for sure be that guy, but you never know. I mean, if Dable and Mike Kafka could unlock anybody, it's Drew Lock who has some potential. He was a first-round pick for a reason. Drew Lock was, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No,
he wasn't.
No, he was a second rounder. He was the same. He was the same draft class as Daniel Jones because I wanted the Giants to get him at 17.
Okay, there we go. But the thing with Lock is he isn't scared. Like he'll stay in the pocket. He'll sling it.
Yeah.
He's not gonna underthrow or overthrow your guy as much as Jones does, like we've seen. And he's not going to stay down his first
second rounder.
There you go.
Second rounder, pick 42 out of Missouri.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to see a fresh face, and if that means seeing Drew Lock and seeing him perform, I am excited for him to see what he can do in training camp at this point because you have nothing to lose now. This is the quarterbacks you're going to roll with as we're going to shift towards our roster review right now. At quarterback, you have Daniel Jones currently as a starter on the depth chart, followed by Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito. I guess we'll grade it. I'll give it a C-.
I was thinking the exact same thing, a C-.
Uncertainty.
Like, there is potential there. Like, Daniel Jones did have a good year 2 years ago. Now he's got some weapons. Let's see what he can do. Drew Lock is a new face. Tommy DeVito had a year NFL success under his belt. It was a 3-game insanity run that probably won't get repeated, but who knows? Just having that little bit of confidence and the fan base loves him. Like maybe just having that is enough to propel him to bigger and better things.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe this offseason he'll get even better. And like you mentioned earlier about them, also all those three guys battling out during training camp, DeVito could definitely make a statement. And like we heard from Joe Shane, Jones may not be ready week 1. So DeVito may have to be on the roster just to be that QB2 and then Locke be the starter, or vice versa if they switch roles. But regardless, at the end of the day, the quarterback's position is a bit shaky as it is. And if the Giants don't perform well in 2024, it's safe to say they will likely pursue a quarterback in the draft, a.k.a. Shadir Sanders.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Probably.
We shift to running back now. The 4 guys on the depth chart are the following. Devin Singletary is a starter, followed by Eric Gray, the 5th-round pick from last year. Tyrone Tracy Jr., the rookie we just drafted from Purdue. And Gary Brightwell, who has mainly played special teams, the 6th-round pick from Arizona just a few years ago. The Giants signed Turbo Miller, Dante Miller as his actual name, more recently. Weird story, by the way, if you guys haven't heard, but he was supposed to be in the draft last season. Something got messed up, but he was basically a free agent the Giants signed, and he's pretty intriguing, but I'm not sure if he'll be a starter. But regardless, I would give the running back room, give it a B-. Singletary, it's just he's a starter, just not a guy I'm going like.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Your thoughts?
It's the Giants have a bunch of just like RB2s.
Which is
one. Yeah.
We can't be having that though. That's the thing. We can't just have, a bunch of mid quarterbacks. We can have a bunch of running back twos, and it's frustrating in a way. But at the same time, it's understandable because we've always had an RB1. Maybe running back by committee may work.
Yeah.
All right, that was easy. We'll go to wide receiver now, the exciting position on the team, on this offense, more specifically. Malik Neighbors, clearly the wide receiver number 1. Darius Slayton working on an extension, apparently. Things are going well. So it looks like our frustrations with him may be not valid anymore because
maybe not.
His agents and the Giants are in conversation as of right now. So hopefully it's a reasonable deal for him to come back. Followed by Wan'Dale Robinson in the slot. Jalen Hyatt is on the depth chart as well. And then let's see who else. I believe it is. Oh, yeah. Isaiah Hodgins and so on and so forth. I will ask
He's getting cut.
Ooh. They just brought him back, though, no?
Well, last year they did. It's one of those things where, like, training camp comes around and, like, you have to cut some guys. Like, he just might. He's wide receiver 5 on the depth chart right now. He just might be an unfortunate chopping block guy.
Out of the 4 guys in Neighbors, Slayton, Robinson, and Hyatt, who's your top 3? Because they all 4 of them can't be on the field.
Right. So I would do Neighbors at wide receiver 1. I would put Hyatt at wide receiver 2 as my deep threat, and I put Wan'Dale in the slot.
Ooh. So even if Slayton comes back, he'll be the wide receiver 4.
Yes. He has the least. This season of the Giants is all about development, and you have to develop Hyatt and Wan'Dale Robinson and Neighbors. The only way to do that is get them on the field.
Fair enough. Yeah, those are the 4 main pass catchers. I mean, Isaiah McKenzie is probably special teams. Isaiah Hodgins, you said, likely is the candidate to get cut. Gunnar Olszewski, mainly special teams, and then everyone else is pretty irrelevant. I want to see if Bryce Ford Wheaton might make the roster. He was intriguing last year in the preseason before he got down with that injury. So overall, I'll give the receivers B+.
Yeah, B+.
Neighbors makes it a B+. Other than that,
exactly. B+, but by the end of the year, it has potential to be an A, depending on what the 3 young guys do.
Especially Wan'Dale. If he can,
especially Wan'Dale. Wan'Dale can be. If Wan'Dale can replicate what he did in that Detroit game where he tore his ACL, like he's got something there.
I like it. All right, we go to tight ends. Darren Waller.
Yeah, no, he's not on this roster.
Just retire, man.
Just retire, man. Stop pulling the Giants in limbo like this. We drafted a tight end.
We're good.
Thanks.
No way we keep 5 or 6 tight ends on the roster, of course.
No. Keep 3 at most. And Waller, it was a great idea by Joe Shane. I give him credit for creativity, but it just unfortunately just did not work.
Yeah, I mean, you have Waller right now, Bellinger, Theo Johnson, the rookie from Penn State, Jack Stoll, Chris Manhertz, Lawrence Cagers. He came back as one of the early moves this offseason. Yeah, Waller's gone for sure. The Giants knew that they need to get tight end. We discussed this in a previous episode as well, and they got one in Johnson, who is he's a vertical threat, not very shifty or fast, but he'll do the job.
Yeah.
But I could see Bellinger being the tight end one for now if Waller does retire. So I give it a B minus. Uncertainty.
Yeah, B minus. Yeah, not as uncertain as quarterbacks, but like B minus.
Yeah, I do like Johnson though.
I like Johnson a lot.
Penn State. All right, offensive line, a position that was also not addressed in the draft. The current starting lineup is as is according to ESPN. Andrew Thomas, Aaron Stinney, the left guard, but that's gonna be Evan Neal likely at left guard. John Michael Schmitz, John Runyon, and then Jermaine Elaminor at right tackle for the G-Men, who will have a new O-line coach, the Carmen Brasillo, I believe is his name, coming from the Raiders as well. Your thoughts on the offensive line and the decision to not draft one in this past draft?
So I think the decision not to draft one came down to them. Joe Shane's mind, he addressed it in free agency. They brought in a ton in from Green Bay. They brought in, a few depth guys. So there is, potential plug and play guys you can't put there. I think this is one of the better Giants O-lines that have been. Is it great? No. Is it like putrid like it has been the past few years? No. And I think this new coach from the Raiders is definitely going to help, definitely guys like Evan Neal and JMS develop better.
Yeah, 100%. I feel confident in the line as it is. Obviously, there's the fear if one of those starting guys goes down, do we really trust, a Matt Nelson or a Marcus McKeithen like we did last year? Probably not. Do we trust a, Yotny Kajus, for example, who's on the depth chart? We probably don't. For those of you who don't know who Yotny Kajus is, hey, I don't blame you. We don't really know him like that either. But the point is,
Kajus the guy from Hard Knocks a few years ago?
Is he?
I think so.
I'm not sure. What did he do on Hard Knocks specifically?
He was a crystal guy.
Crystal guy.
Yeah, Devin Kajus. I don't think it's him. Yeah, no, Kajus retired. Nope, not him.
Okay.
To pursue his spiritual healing and passion for crystals.
Oh, okay. Yotny, you're safe, buddy. You're safe.
Yeah.
You're safe. I don't know who Devin Kajus is, but yeah, crystals, huh? Interesting. Way to change careers or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, that's one thing.
I give the offensive line a B plus.
Yeah.
I'm definitely confident in them. Andrew Thomas is obviously an all-pro. Illuminor and Runyon are upgrades, and John Michael Schmitz, I'm excited to see him grow as the starting center for years to come. We shift to the defense now. Defensive line. Well, let's start with three up front because the Giants run a 3-4 defense led by Shane Bowen, the new defensive coordinator from Tennessee. Currently, the lineup stands at DJ Davidson, Dexter Lawrence, and Ricky Nunez-Roches. Jordan Phillips was signed recently in free agency by the Giants as well. The Giants did not draft the defensive tackle, but it's because of the whole Jordan Phillips signing. Exactly. Dexter Lawrence automatically makes us an A-. I know Davidson and Nunez-Roches aren't the best guys, but if we're being honest, as long as you have Dexter Lawrence up there, this defensive line is already good.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do want to see Jordan Riley though a little bit more.
Yeah.
He has some promise. He has some promise.
It's just hard when you have like the best best tackle in the game ahead of you. Like you're not going to see the field.
Exactly. So we'll see with that. We move on to the four guys behind those 3D linemen. The linebackers, Brian Burns, Bobby Okereke, Micah McFadden, Kayvon Thibodeau. Burns and Thibodeau are going to be outstanding. I'm so excited to see those two guys. Okereke and McFadden were a solid duo on the inside last year as well. And let's say one of those guys goes down, God forbid, not to worry. Giants have Azeez Ojulari, who will be most likely a pass rusher, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Isaiah
Simmons, Darius Masau, who did I say a wrong name earlier? Oh my god, I think I said Maurice Luafu or whatever. Oh my god, that was the wrong guy. Yeah, you said Darius Muasu earlier.
Yeah.
When we were introducing the rookies, I was like, did I say the wrong name? But yeah, Darius Muasu is his actual name. He was signed by the Giants or drafted by the Giants in this past draft as the backup linebacker. He can start if needed, and the Giants still have Boogie Basham and whatnot. So I would give this an A. The starters are
I was
great.
giving it an A plus. I think
Okay.
the starters this for years linebacker has been an issue for the Giants. This is the first time in a while the Giants linebacking core is something to be feared because you have Brian Burns and Kayvon who are going to rush the quarterback. You have McFadden and Okereke who are going to play great on the inside, and that depth is great there. Ozzie Ojulari could be a starter in this league if he stayed healthy. He was supposed to be a starter in this
100%.
league. You know, the guy whose name you said wrong. He's a really underrated rookie. Everything the Giants have is just pointing at this is going to be the best position on the field.
Nothing wrong with that either, I tell you. So shout out to the linebacking core. It's going to be a scary times in New York on that defense right there. We go to our corners now, who the Giants kind of underwhelmed with the drafting of Andrew Phillips of Kentucky. He isn't the immediate answer at cornerback 2, opposite of Deontay Banks, but as follows: Cordell Flott is slated to start on the outside with Deontay Banks. Drew Phillips like the slot guy, and Robinson is still on the team, who we haven't seen in quite some time. From the Giants, Trey Hawkins is there, but I swear if he sees a snap on the field, I'm gonna
say he's probably another guy that is probably gonna get cut.
I don't blame him. And then we have Nick McLeod, who is a dark horse to start because he has. Out of the guys I feel comfortable with, I would rather start Nick McLeod on the outside to start outside of opposite of Deontay Banks.
Yes, definitely.
I'll give it a I don't know. Just Zanetta Flott's not bad.
Probably no one's really bad. It's just like, I'll give it a C plus.
C plus, okay.
Because it's just like, okay, Banks is really good, but like outside of that, it's just kind of like no one really like excites you. Like, all right, like I like them, but like, we can do better.
Oh, 100%. And then safeties, we have Tyler Nubin, who we really love as well. Jalen Mills is the other starting safety on the other side, but it's likely going to be Jason Pinnock most likely, but we'll see what happens there. Dane Belton remains on the roster as well, along with Javarius Owens, who's mostly a special teams guy. I would give this one big upgrade by adding Nubin. Give definitely a B plus for sure.
Yes.
Because I don't know about Mills. I do feel comfortable more with Pinnock, but Nubin makes this an upgrade as it is.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Nubin is going to complete like the Giants. They might feel a little bit the loss of Xavier McKinney because Nubin does have to develop into an NFL caliber safety, but it's not gonna. The beat won't be as the drop off is not gonna be as severe if he wasn't drafted.
I love it. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
And special teams, Dragan Gano's there, Jimmy Gillian's there. I wouldn't give it a grade. I know kickers people too, but I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna give my kickers an A or a B. They're fine.
Yeah, any kicker can be good. Any kicker can be bad.
I love it.
Well, the Cowboys are starting a soccer player, a kicker, for God's sakes.
We should go find a soccer player, to be honest. Because Gano's gonna get hurt again.
Does Messi want to? Is Messi good at kicking field goals? What's his situation looking like? It's Miami.
He probably want to kick for the Dolphins more than us, to be honest.
Yeah, he wants to play in New York.
Overrated. I'm just playing, but he hasn't been that great since coming to the U.S. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, he's washed. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how old he is, but I'm not a big soccer guy. But like, I remember him dominating 10 years ago. Like,
he's just having fun these days. It's Miami.
Yeah, he's getting a paycheck. He's probably going out at night, like, having fun with his family. Like, yeah, this is great. He's spent his whole life in like cloudy, dreary, like rainy Europe. Now he's in Florida, Miami, which sunny every single day. Like, this is amazing. What are you talking about?
Beautiful U.S. of A.
Exactly.
We go to our second segment now. Second down, presented by Yeet Sunglasses. Use the code BELLYUP POD for 10% off your order. Yeet Sunglasses, affordable. Uses the best materials to make beautiful sunglasses. It's almost summertime, so get your sunglasses from Yeet's code BELLYUP POD for 10% off your order. I discussed my winners and losers from the NFL draft on Monday, so if you haven't, go check out that episode. But Brian, you were not here for that one, so I want to give the floor to you, sir. I feel like we know who one of the losers are in this draft from your standpoint, but we'll start with the winners. Who are some winners from the NFL draft that you have?
So this one, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people if you say the show. I say a big winner is J.J. McCarthy. I think J.J. McCarthy went to the absolute perfect system for him. He's like we said, JJ McCarthy is a guy who needs the team around him to be good, right? He wasn't going to come to the Giants to be good because the team around him is not good. The Vikings have a great offense for him to put himself into, all right? He's got Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, great receivers. TJ Hawkinson, he's got a decent run game. He is in the absolute and a good stable coaching staff in O'Connell and Chris O'Hara, the quarterback's coach. Like, I really like the situation McCarthy got himself into. And if there's one spot where McCarthy might be able to show what he did in college, it's Minnesota.
I like that. Yeah, out of the quarterbacks, if I had to rank the quarterbacks based on the situation, Caleb Williams is obviously number one with the Bears, but McCarthy is number two because, like you mentioned, Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, just a solid offensive core. Defense is sort of better, but you have a great head coach in Kevin O'Connell, so definitely I can see McCarthy as a winner. Who else do you have on your list?
I'm trying to think back now.
I got you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few teams that came to
I mean,
mind.
the Colts, the Steelers did really well. I like their drafts a lot.
Pittsburgh, they loaded up. They did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At first, I was like, okay, well, Troy Fontenot, yeah, but at the same time, I was like, wait, Fontenot and Zach Frazier in rounds 1 and 2 on the offensive line. That's solid pick. They got Roman Wilson from Michigan at wide receiver. He comes in as a wide receiver number 2 for Pittsburgh. Just a great draft by those guys over there in Pittsburgh. You mentioned the Colts as well. I thought they were going to go get Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
But they went with Latu, the edge from UCLA. So they picked there. Adonai Mitchell, the wide receiver. Likely is going to be the wide receiver number 2 with Michael Pittman Jr. We'll see about that. And then Matt Goncalves, the offensive tackle from Pittsburgh, was drafted in the 3rd round. So, solid picks by the Indianapolis Colts. Any losers by any chance?
The Denver Broncos and the Atlanta Falcons.
Ooh, Denver. Why? Because they did get Bo Nix.
That's such a reach, though, at 12. And I know it's the way the quarterback. I know the way the draft was going. Quarterbacks were going off the board, but I just don't think Bo Nix is going to be an NFL caliber quarterback. I just think the Broncos the quarterback hell they're in is just going to continue with Bo Nix. And then the Falcons, same story. I think they reached on almost like every pick they did. Like, you saw the video after, and I love Michael Penix. I came on the show. You saw how great we love Penix. Penix should not have gone at 8. If the Giants would have drafted Penix at 6, I would have thrown something. Like, Penix is really good. He's a very good quarterback. He just can't sit behind Kirk Cousins for 3 years. He's going to be 27. Like, he's a guy that needs to start right away. And you saw the after the draft pick, the owner went up to the general manager, like, what are we doing here? The general manager had to basically explain to the ownership what they were doing, and the owner still wasn't really listening. So it's just a bad asset management by the Atlanta Falcons.
I give the Falcons I say they're losers, but it's literally not because.
It's not because of the players, it's where they took them.
There you go. Beautiful. That's how I want to say it. It's just there's nothing wrong with Penix. Like, I love the guy. I really hope he succeeds, but he going to a team that is not gonna play him for like 2 years. And he's ready to play now. There's his footwork, it could use some work, but it's not like it's not like a drastic.
Could Penix sit for a few games? Sure, but he's not like. I think the Falcons want like a Jordan Love situation where Love sat behind Rodgers for 2 or 3 years. You can't do that with Penix.
And it's like you can't even compare the two because Jordan Love went to Utah State and didn't do anything notable. Michael Penix just led the freaking Huskies to a national championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you just signed Kirk Cousins to a big deal. Like, I know football money is like you can get out of it pretty fast, but like, if you're gonna pay Kirk Cousins all that money, he's your starter for 3 years.
$100 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
For what? Just for him to be like, oh shoot, Penix is Miami. Oh no.
Yeah, and then the Falcons didn't even tell Kirk Cousins they were playing on it. Like, if you're going to make that signing, you have to tell Kirk Cousins, hey, we're thinking about picking a quarterback.
Oh, I missed a comment here from my guy Matt from the corner booth. I guess we can't show Instagram comments on the live stream. Apparently, I don't know why. He said Giants defense line is going to be scary. Burns, Lawrence, and Thibodeau. Sure is, Matt. You tell him, my boy. Gonna see Matt later on in the corner booth along with Jared and Chris and all those guys. So appreciate them for the support. Appreciate them for everything. But yeah, I do have a question though. I know the Broncos got Bo Nix and Troy Franklin, and they're gonna pair those two up together again, which is nice. I love the power of friendship and all that stuff. But I have to ask, was there someone that Denver chose that I don't know, maybe your favorite pick out of the guys they taken?
I'm gonna pull their draft class up real quick.
I don't think you have to. I'll give you a little hint. He's a power back.
Yes, Mr. Andre Guestimé.
Andre Guestimé, yeah.
Great pick for the Broncos. I was upset when I saw that.
I was like, no, I want him to go to us, but
yeah, no. I like Tyrone Tracy, but I would have loved Guestimé as my back.
I would have put Estime as the RB1 so fast. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I feel so confident in his abilities, and the fact that he's going to play with Javonte Williams, that's going to be a good 1-2 punch on that offense. So I really wish we got him, but shout out to him, man. I fell in love with him for sure.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, Denver loses up the draft like you mentioned because they reached for Knicks, but situation wise, yeah, it's kind of explainable. Falcons were another loser as well as they reached for Michael Penix, and
the Falcons is what caused the chain reaction because of the reach for Penix, because McCarthy's still on the board.
True.
At 8.
True.
And then so if the Falcons, who had a glaring need for an edge rusher, if they pick defense there, the Broncos probably don't have to pick Bo Nix at 12. They probably can sit and wait for the second round.
Yeah, I just feel like they should have gone like Dallas Turner, the edge.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Brandon Trice isn't bad in their round, but still, you could have got Turner, who's much better.
Much better. Yeah, exactly. Much better. Because you could have gotten Penix in the second round.
That is true. Plus, they don't need Penix anyways. Like if you believe in Kirk Cousins and he somehow stinks up the joint in 2024, then that means you're bad. So just go draft another one in 2025. You get Quinn Ewers or Shadir Sanders
and those are guys that can sit behind Kirk Cousins for a year or two and learn.
Exactly. Not for us though. If we get one of those two guys,
they're starting
immediately, I tell you. All right, as we shift towards our third and final segment of the show, it's going to be Third Down, presented by Righteous Felon Jerky. Use the code BELLYUP for 15% off your order. Righteous Felon Jerky is a great snack to have in your pantry. Great ingredients, tastes really good. Shout out to them for sponsoring our third segment, also known as, you guys know, Third Down. So, we're going to shift away from the Giants to our division rival, Dallas Cowboys, because someone has made their return to Dallas. Yay. By the way, so Jerry Jones, back in last year said, quote, "It was best for everyone to release Ezekiel Elliott. We want to increase our flexibility and options. This is one of the toughest parts of operating a team," he said. Well, then, guess who's back in Dallas? Ezekiel Elliott. Yes, sir, indeed is. 1-year deal, $3 million, according to Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Out of his $3 million, $2 million is guaranteed money. So low risk, high reward. Woohoo! Here's the problem. He is declining.
Yeah, badly.
He is not the same back they drafted. After his rookie season, where he just completely dominated the NFL, his yards per carry went down, plateaued, down, and that's why they released him, because they were like, or let him go. They're like, yeah, he was going down anyways in performance. So we're gonna go back on our words now. We think his Patriots film meant something to us. It did. I mean,
he did lead the Patriots in receptions.
Big whoopity whoop. Yeah, I could lead the team in receiving too if they checked it down to me every 20 freaking times.
I'm not saying it's an accomplishment. I'm just saying it is a stat. My buddy who's a die-hard Patriots fan saw that yesterday and just through his phone. It's like how is this possible?
He's a running back. Like you telling me, like I don't know, Demario Davis, Kendrick Bourne, or Juju Smith-Schuster couldn't lead the team in receiving?
Yeah.
Like that's when you know things are bad in New England, and things are still bad, by the way. So shout out. I hope your roommate gets some help because
No, he's found something. He's found something to help him.
fair enough to me. The 1-year deal with the Patriots expired in March for Ezekiel Elliott. He played for $3 million with New England, and he still counts for a $6 million dead cap hit for Dallas in 2024, despite the new deal with the Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott was asked about the return to Dallas, and he says he has unfinished business.
Right. What, you want to play center?
Why did they run that play again?
I think McCarthy.
Just fire him already. My golly.
Yeah.
Just put Belichick in there, man. That's the only way Dallas is gonna.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry. I can't. I can't with the Cowboys. Because you could have had Jonathan Brooks. You could have had Blake Corum. You could have had Estime. You could have drafted some sort of running back.
Yeah. Like, was it a weak running back class? Yeah, it was. But you still could have went out there and got a good running back.
Trey Benson. I don't know. Bucky Irving. So somebody, anybody.
All those names are better than Wash Ezekiel Elliott.
I can't believe before they got Elliott, their running back room was Deuce Vaughn, Royce Freeman, and Rico Dowdle. And they really felt comfortable going with that heading into the draft and said, nah, we're not going to get anyone. We're going to just bring back someone we know in Ezekiel Elliott. Who's switching his number to 15, like that's going to make a difference.
What, you're trying to relive your Ohio State days?
Like oh, no. How about
How about
Ezekiel
Elliott's wearing 15 again. He's going to be like his 2014 self.
Over under 1,000 yards. I'm going to go under.
Under.
Hammer
well
the
under.
Hammer the under. Dallas just continues to surprise us. You want to go for it on 4th down today?
Yeah, I do. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. All right, let's bring back Weddle, baby. All right, let's guess the player. If you guys don't know, Weddle's where we guess the player of the day. Obviously, we don't know who it is. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here right now trying to figure it out. So let's go for it. All right, give me a player, and let's try to guess this guy in 8 guesses.
Let's do Drew Lock.
Drew Lock, beautiful. Okay, he's in the NFC East. He's 27 years old. He is
not a Giant.
Okay.
Not a quarterback, so he plays defense.
Right? I don't think that. No, I think this particular Weddle doesn't have defensive players, thankfully.
Oh, okay. So just
thank God,
just
by the
offense.
way,
Yeah, thank God.
27. He's
the first round, right? It's a first round pick.
I don't think they'll.
Good. I see the oh no, that's his number. His number is higher than 2.
27. Let's go Swift.
Yeah.
No, he's not in.
No. He's on. Go AJ Brown.
There you go. Right there. Who just signed with the. Okay, he's an Eagle. Okay, 6 foot or 5'11". Smith? No, he's not 27.
No.
Is he running? Oh, who's the running back?
Who is their running back?
Oh my God! Wait, is it?
No way.
No. Oh, okay, no, we're gonna just move on here. Okay, folks. We don't talk about him. Okay, we don't speak about the man. It was Saquon Barkley, but anyways.
No wonder I can remember it. My brain just blocked it out.
He really left us.
His jersey's still on my floor. It's our doormat.
Yeah, it's in my closet somewhere.
It's covered in
something.
God knows. Fire extinguisher repellent.
All right, that'll do it for the 3rd and 10 podcast, episode 6. We'll catch you guys on Monday. Brian, thank you as always. Thank you guys for watching and listening. We appreciate your support as always. We'll be back Monday to discuss more Giants. Good luck to the Knicks, by the way, before we go. Hopefully they pull it out by the time we come back on Monday.
They better. That was that Game 5 had Reggie Miller 2.0 written all over it, and I don't want to be negative, but that feels like a turning point in the series where the Knicks can just blow this 3-1 lead. I hope I'm wrong. I hope in Philly
End it
tonight
tonight.
they get the job done, but if they go back to the Garden for a Game 7, I'm terrified.
Hey, me too, brother. Me too. Also, shout out to the Mets. We'll talk about hopefully another time. And the Rangers moving on to the next round most recently. Shout out to the Rangers, baby. New York teams, let's go. Hopefully the Giants can get to that level one day. But
hopefully.
Yep, that's a wrap. We'll see you guys back on Monday. Have a great one, and we'll talk to you guys then.